Hey, so this is the first time I'm actually showing my face. I'm Amy, and I am Kate, Scarlett, and Melody's mom as well. I have a dog named Tudor. So Kate, Scarlett, and Melody have started their introductions. I did carrier method. I'll show more of that in another video, but they spent some time together in the carrier, and now I've transitioned them to Melody's cage, but with nothing in it. So that's the chew wear Critterware Chew Proof cage that I did the review on. So they're in there, nothing in it, just some water and some food and some bedding. And yeah, they've been doing their thing in there. But while they're doing that, I did a deep clean of the big cage where they all will live together. So I put together a little video just to show how I deep clean. It's not very different from everyone else's. But you know, I do specifically some things to the wood toys that I originally had a lot of questions about, and I was able to learn from the internet. So I thought I'd show you here just in case anybody else has those same questions. So when I clean my cage, I start by taking apart everything, except for I haven't taken out my wooden perches because they were difficult to put in, and I just put them in yesterday. So I bring it into the bathtub, then I have a handheld sprayer up here, and I use it on the hottest water I can. I just give a good spray down to the top of the cage. So I sprayed it down, trying to avoid the wooden parts as best I could. They may have gotten a little wet, but they'll dry okay. And now I just leave it to dry while I go get the bottom pan and do the same thing to that. So same thing, I just gave the bottom pan a really good spray down with scalding water, making sure to go over it 3 or 4 or 5 times, just so that every part of it got the scalding water for at least a minute. Yeah, because this should be enough to kill bacteria without using any cleaning product. I know some people do use vinegar at this stage to wipe it down just in case there's extra stuck on pee and to get rid of the smell of ammonia. So I've also gathered all of their toys, their igloo, their ferret tube, their baskets, their food bowl, and anything else that's plastic that I can clean in the bathtub. And I've dumped out any crumbs of poop or food. And I'm gonna fill a bath full of scalding hot water and just water, no cleaning product. And then I'm gonna let them soak before I spray them down. So when I do this, I open the ferret tube all the way so that I can get into all the little nooks and crannies that get they collect food and dust and pee. So this is a really good way to make sure you're getting everything. So now I just have everything drying in the bathroom. Don't mind my super messy bathroom. And I like to have the ferret tube all the way pulled out to dry just so that nothing gets caught in the little nooks and crannies again. I'm going to leave it here for a while. Usually I will actually towel dry them, but because my rats are actually doing introductions right now, they don't need their big cage right away. So I'm just going to leave it here to air dry. When it comes to their wood toys, I put them out on a baking sheet, and then I set my oven until, I usually just do whatever it's preset to, so 350, but I put it in right away and I set a 20-minute timer while it preheats, and then by the time the 20-minute timer goes off, they should be clean, all the germs should be dead. You want to have them on the second rack so they're not as close to the top of the oven, and you also want to have it on a fairly low heat. I think my heat that it comes on at is 350, but as I said, I leave them in during the preheat, so it's actually not 350 until the very end. So now I've turned off the oven. I still have about 3 minutes left on the clock, and I'm gonna let it just sit there for 3 more minutes because I think it's hot enough. I can also smell some of the wood baking, which is kind of funny. But yeah, then I'm gonna put on an oven mitt, take it out, let it cool, and then when I put the cage all back together, I'll put them all back in. So the reason I bake the wood toys instead of washing them is because obviously wood's really porous and absorbs a lot of water. So if you do submerge them in the water, it's going to take a really long time to dry. I've also heard that there's a chance of them molding, etc. As well, where these are unnatural colors, they do leak when I get them wet. So I've seen online that baking is a really effective way to kill the germs without bleeding out the dye. So usually with the main bedding, I roll up like a poop burrito, and then I take all the hammocks, anything else, there's a rope climbing ladder, anything fabric. I put it in this bag. This is my dirties bag. And then I take it outside, I unroll it all, I shake it off, and then I put it in the washer just on the hottest setting. Usually I don't put anything in with it. Occasionally I'll do half and half vinegar and water if it's smelling really bad. But that's about it, and I just let it go through a cycle on the hottest setting, and then I put it in the dryer. So because the girls will be going back into the cage as their first time all living there, I don't want to set Melody up for failure, basically. So I'll be putting in very few things to start with. I'm going to start with just one of their baskets with some fleece in it as a sleeping zone because they already really like to sleep in there. And so I'm hoping they can all three sleep in there and get some bonding done. As well, I'm not going to put their igloo back or their tube. I'll just have some chew toys and whatnot. But I will add things as they get to know each other better and as they show that they're getting along and whatnot. I just don't want to have too many sleeping spaces because they'll kind of split themselves among them, I think. And I also don't want to have any areas where Melody could get trapped. So thank you for watching. It's been a pleasure showing you my face in my dirty house, and I hope you'll consider subscribing because I'm going to have more content like this, including an upcoming video of the rat introductions. As well, I'm going to include Melody's whole process of coming home with me. So thanks for watching. Bye.